Welcome back, friends, and after a long wait we are going to work on a data analyst portfolio project, and today we are going to analyze ABX stores sales data set using SQL. In the previous videos we learned basic to advanced SQL concepts, and today we are going to implement all those concepts to work on a real project, that is a sales data set from ABX store. So without any further ado, let's begin. As you can see on this presentation, we have Data Analyst Portfolio Project, and we are going to analyze ABX stores sales data set. So for analyzing a data set, first of all we need to understand the problem statement. This is the step-by-step portfolio project, so we need to start from the very beginning and go till the advanced topics. So the first thing is that we need to see the problem statement. So the statement says that ABX store wants to increase their sales in the United States by 20%. So ABX store wants us to analyze their existing data and give them insights based on the existing data to increase their sales by 20%. They need information on where to run ad campaigns and which customers to target through their ads. They require thorough information so they can prepare a good strategy to increase their sales. So they want us to give them insights about targeting specific customers so they can run ad campaigns for specific people in specific states of the United States. So the first thing is that we need to explore the data and clean it if it needs any cleansing. The first thing is that we need to explore ARD. So they have a database which is given to us. Let me show you the database in this PostgreSQL. So this is the sales database that you can see on my screen, and if we go to schemas and public schema, we go to the tables. These are the tables of this sales data set that you can see. So we have 7 tables: categories, customers, orders, products, salespersons, states, and statuses. So we will explore these tables later, but before that let me show you the AR diagram of these tables, how these tables are connected to each other. So the first thing that we have in this ARD is the categories table, where we have 2 columns, ID column and name column. Then we have products, where we have ID, name, and category ID. So the ID from categories table comes as a foreign key in the products table. Then we have statuses. Status also has ID and a status. So it means whether the order status is delivered or it is cancelled. So the ID from status table comes to the orders table as order status ID, and this is a foreign key here. Then we have states of the United States, so that is New York, Washington DC, and so on. So we have states and we have customers, so each customer is located in a state. So the ID from the states is the state ID foreign key here in the customers table. So all these tables are then connected to the orders table. As we saw before, we have ID from products as a foreign key in that is product ID in the orders table. Then we have ID from status, that is order status ID. We have ID from customers, it's on the top, so that's customer ID. Then we have salesperson ID as a foreign key, and you can see it at the end of that salesperson ID. So this is the AR diagram of these tables. These tables are connected to each other. Let me minimize this and go back to pgadmin 4. Let me show you some data from these tables. Let me select star from categories table first. If I run this query, okay, these are the categories that we have in this data set. We have 5 categories: footwear, clothing, accessories, electronics, and appliances. Now let's see some data from customers. And because we have many customers, so we need to limit this data to show only 5 records. Let me run this. Okay, so these are the customers. We have ID of the customer, customer name, gender, age, and state ID. So the gender basically is 0 for female and 1 for male. Because I've already seen this data, so I can say that there are only 2 values in gender. that is 0 for female and 1 for male. Then we have age of the customer, and then we have state ID, which is a foreign key. So let me run another query along with this. Select star from states. Let me run this first one. So we have these states in this table, that is 1 to 10. We have only 10 states here. So if I run the second query, let me select the second one and run it. Then these state IDs are the foreign keys from the states table. So 1 means the first record in the states table, 2 means the second record in the states table, and so on. So these are the states and the customers. Let me select star from orders and limit this to 5 records. Let me run this, and we have this table. We have ID, order date, delivery time in days, delivery cost, quantity, how many products were ordered in this specific order, order status ID, 1 means delivered, 2 means cancelled, product ID, so ID of the product, customer ID, purchase price, okay, sale price, revenue generated, profit, and salesperson ID. So this is a long table that we saw before in the AR diagram as well. We will be dealing with this table most of the times because most of the data is located in this orders table. So let me select star from products to see all the products. Okay, these are the products that we can see. Okay, that's fine. So everything looks good. Let's now see salespersons. Run this. We have 5 salespersons here. Now let's have a look at statuses. So if I run this, we will have only 2 statuses, 1 delivered and 2 cancelled. So this is all the data that we have in this data set. Let me go back to the PowerPoint. So we explored the ERD and we explored all the tables of the database. There were no issues that we saw, so we could not clean anything. Everything is already cleaned. Let me go to the next slide. Here we can see the data analysis process, and there are some questions for us to solve. The first one is that we need to list top 3 products by revenue. So we need to show the top 3 products of this data set that has generated more revenue in this data. The second one is show top 3 months of the year by revenue. So in this question, we need to show those 3 months where the ABX store generated more revenue in this year. Then we have show top 3 states where the top 3 items are purchased in high quantity. So we need to show top 3 states where the top 3 items we are going to show in the first question, they were purchased in high quantity. And the last one is show which age group people generated more revenue in the top 3 states. So in these states that we are showing, we need to show which age group purchased more items or generated more revenue. So now let's solve these questions one by one. The first one is top 3 products by revenue, and we need to show top 3 products here. Let me list the top 3 products here. So how to list the top 3 products? Let me go back to this ERD. Here we can see that the product ID comes from the products table, and here we also have the revenue column in this orders table. So we can combine, or we can join the orders table with the products table to show top 3 products by revenue. Let me go to pgadmin 4 and say that select product.name, comma, sum of orders.revenue. We need only these 2 columns, okay, from products table as P, inner join orders table as O, on P.id is equal to O dot product ID. So we can join these two columns because the ID from the products table is the foreign key in the orders table. Okay, that's fine for now. Let me add a group by class, group by p.name, because if we do not add group by class, it will not run this query because we have a sum function. So whenever we have a function, an aggregate function, and we have a column, then we need to group by that column. So if I run this query now, it will show all the products and the revenue they generated throughout the year or in this data set. So we have all the products and their revenue. Now that we have all the products listed, we need to show only the top 3 products that generated the most amount of revenue. So group by product.name and order by sum of revenue. We need to order by descending. If I run this query now, okay, now it has ordered the result. We can see that laptop is on top because it has generated the most amount of revenue, that is 72,000. Then we have watch and then we have TV. So we can see the top 3 products are the results, and we only need to show the top 3 products here. So what we can do is to limit this and show only 3 records. If I run this, now we have the top 3 products listed here, and that is laptop, watch, TV. We can also do one thing. We can say that show me p.id as well. If you want to show the ID of the product, we can say that group by p.id comma p.name. If I run this, now we will have the IDs as well. So ID number 7 is laptop and it is on top of the list. Then we have ID number 4, watch, which is the second item. ID number 5, which is TV, is the third item sold, and that has generated the most amount of revenue. So let me list them: laptop, watch and TV. So that is laptop, watch and TV. So we have solved the first question, and now we can say that this is the query needed for solving the first question. Remember that I will add all these queries in a file, and I'll share the link to the file in the video description, so you can download that and practice along with me. Let me clear this, and now let's go to the second question. The second question is that show top 3 months by revenue. So this is a little bit tricky. Let me go back to this pgadmin4. Let's first see the ERD. Here we have order date column and this orders table, and we can use this column to solve question number 2. This is almost the same query that we ran before, but it's a little bit different. We can say that select. Now PostgreSQL has a function that's extract, which is used to extract month or day or year from a specific date. So currently we need to extract month from the order date column. So we can say extract month from order date column, or we can say o.order date because we will need this alias later on in this query. Let me first this query from orders. Let me first run this one to see the result, and we can see that we have all the months here listed for each order date. Now let me change this. So we do not only need the month, but we also need the revenue, sum of o.revenue from orders table. We do not need to join another table with this. Okay, we only need to say group by. Let me give it an alias. So for example, let me say this is order month, and this column is revenue. Let me call it rev. We can say group by order month, not group by rev. Order month. Okay, if I run this, okay, now it has grouped the result by month, and we only have 12 records, 1 to 12, because we have 12 months. So we have the data available to us, and now we need to sort this, and we need to bring the top revenue to the top of the result set. So what we can do here is to use the order by class, order by rev. So now we need to order this by revenue, and we can say order it on descending order. So if I run this, now we have top revenue on top, then we have second top and third top. So May, March and November has the top 3 sales or top 3 revenue. So let me limit this result to 3 records so we can see only the top 3. If I run this, we can say May, March and November. So let me write it here: May, March and November. That's it. We have solved the second question. Now let's move on to the third one. This is a little bit tricky or a little bit difficult because we do not only need to show top 3 states, but we need to show top 3 states where the top 3 items are purchased in a high quantity. If we go to the question itself, let me go back to the question. It says that show top 3 states where the top 3 items are purchased in a high quantity. So top 3 states by top 3 items sold. So let me go back to the question and let's go to PG admin 4. Let me clear this. Select product ID from orders. If I run this, it will list all the product IDs from product table, but we do not need this. We can say group by product ID and then order by sum of revenue. If I run this, it will show me all the product IDs again, but let me modify this again. So what we can do is to order by desk and limit 3. What I want to show here is that we need to show product IDs of the top 3 items that generated most amount of revenue in this data set. So if I run this again, it again shows 7, 4 and 5. Remember that the top 3 products, which were laptop, watch and TV, they had these IDs. If I run this query below that, select star from products where ID in these 3 IDs, we will see the same products 7, 4 and 5. If I run this query, it will show laptop, watch and TV. Okay, here we can see that we have a laptop for ID number 7, watch and then TV. So these are the 3 products that are the top 3 products sold in this year. Let me delete this query and go back to the first query. So we are using this query to show the IDs of the top 3 products that are generating the most amount of revenue. Now the question is that we need to show those 3 states which are generating most amount of revenue, but where these 3 items are in high demand. So we can say select st.name as state from orders table, O inner join. I need to join orders table to the customers and then customers to the states, because we do not have a direct link between orders and states. I can show that to you in this picture in this ERD. We do not have any link between states and this orders. We have a link between orders and customers that you can see, and then from customers we have another link to the states. So what we can do is to go from orders to customers and from customers to states. This is the link and we need to implement this in our query. So I'm saying that select st.name state from orders, O inner join customers. First I need to go to customers, C on c.id is equal to o.customer id. So there is a link between order and customer, and the link is the id column from customers is a foreign key as a customer id in the orders table. Now this link is established, and now we can go to the states table. We can say inner join states st, because we have given it an alias as st, on st.id is equal to customer.state id. So there is a link between customer and states where the state ID is a foreign key by the name of state ID in the customers table. So we have established this link as well, and that's it. Okay, select st.name state from orders, inner join customers. Okay, that is joined. Now what we need to do is to add a condition. The condition here means that we need to fetch the states where the top 3 products are in high demand. So we can say that where product ID o.product ID is in these IDs. Where do I select these IDs from? We can run this query to get those IDs. If I run this query again, it will give me those IDs. So I can cut this query from here and I can paste it in this list. So where IDs are in this list, that's it. This will give me the IDs, and those IDs will be given to this in operator. So where the product ID is in this list, and this query will give us the list of the IDs. That's it. If I run this query now, it will give me all the states that you can see. What we need to do is to group by state column, and okay, let me run this first. If I run this now, it should give me only 10 records. Yes, because we have 10 states only. Now we need to order this by sum of revenue, because we need to show the states of top revenue on top. So let me order them by disk. If I run this, you can see the result. We have Chicago on top, but if I run this query now we have Atlanta, Miami, and Chicago. So the top 3 states where the top 3 items are in high demand are Atlanta, Miami, and Chicago. And just we need to add a limit class to limit this to 3. If I run this now, we have Atlanta, Miami, and Chicago. So these are the states where the top 3 products are in high demand, and we can show that here as well. One thing I need to change here is that we need to change this revenue to quantity, because the question says that show top 3 states where the top 3 items are purchased in high quantity. They are not talking about the revenue, they are talking about quantity. So we need to change this to o.quantity, order.quantity, and if I run this, we have Atlanta, Chicago, and Miami. It means these 3 products are sold in high quantity in Atlanta first, then in Chicago, and then in Miami. So these are the 3 states. So these are the 3 states where the top 3 products are in high demand, and this is the query that we need to run to get to this result. So we use this query to give answer to the 3rd question, and that's Atlanta, Chicago, and Miami. Let's go back to this and say this is Atlanta, Chicago, and Miami. So this is also answered, and now let's move on to the 4th question, that is show top age group by revenue generated. Okay, let me go to the original question so we do not misinterpret this. It says show which age group people generated more revenue in the top 3 states only. So in the top 3 states, we need to look for the top age group. Let's go to pgadmin 4. Let's delete this one. And now we are asked for age group. If I go to customer, select star from customers, and if I run this, we can see we have age here, but we do not have age group. Let me show minimum of age and max of age. If I run this, the minimum age in this table is 16 and the maximum is 65. So we have customers from age 16 to 65. Now what we can do is to divide these ages into 3 groups. For example, we can say that if someone is aging between 16 to 30, we can call it younger or young person, and someone from 31 to 50 we can call it middle-aged person, and 50 above can be called a senior person or something like that. So we can divide this age to 3 different age groups, and we can do that in SQL. So let me clear this. So first of all, let's break down this query into different sections. For example, first of all, let me divide this into different age groups. For example, select, we can use a case statement. Case, remember we have studied the case statements in the previous lessons. So we can say case when c.age less than or equal to 30, then call it for example younger. Then when c.age is between 31 and 50, we can call it for example middle-aged. And when c.age is greater than 50, then you can call it for example senior. Okay, and let me end this case statement and call it as for example age group from customers table, customers as C. If I run this, okay, the problem I think comes from these double quotes. We need to use single quotes instead. So let me replace them like this, and if we run this again, yes, now it will return all the customers and it will show that which person is in which age group. We can also say that, let me say for example, show me the ID, and for example c.id, then c.name comma this age group. If I run this again, now it will show ID, name and the age group. And we can also say show c.age, so we can understand which age comes in which age group. So 31 is middle aged, that's fine. 24 is younger, 33 middle aged, 62 senior, 58 senior, and so on. So we can see that we are getting some good results from this query. Now we do not need these things, so we only needed to confirm this result. Let me clean this. Okay, let me clean this from class because we need some more columns. Let me add comma here and say that give me sum of revenue. Let me call it o.revenue because this orders revenue as rev. Okay, from orders table O, inner join customers table C on c.id is o.customer id. Okay, now we have added two columns, first the age group column and then the sum of revenue column. Now what we can do is to add a condition, because we need revenue by age group and specific states, in the top 3 states only, not in all the states. So we can say that where c.state id, we have a state id column in the customers table, is in this specific list, and we can provide the list of the IDs of those 3 states that we have fetched before. We have the top 3 states in the previous question and we have fetched that. We can get the ID of those, but that will be a manual process, but we need to select it automatically. So in this list we can provide the query which will select the top 3 states for us. Okay, we already have that query and I need to paste that query here, and let me explain that as well. We ran this query before, but instead of st.id we ran it for st.name. So here we can say that select st.id as state from orders, inner join customers, C on c.id is equal to customer.id. First, as I said before, we need to go from orders to customers, then from customers to states, where o.product id is in this specific list because we need top 3 states by top 3 products, and then group by state, and order by sum of o dot quantity. We ran this query before. I only changed this st.name to st.id because we need id in this list for this condition. So we are saying that where c.state id is in this specific list. Let me review this again. We need an age group here, and then we need revenue, and after that in condition we say that give me this age group in the top 3 states only. So if I go back to the end of this query, now we can say that group by this age group that we got before and order by this revenue that we added before, sum of o dot revenue, which is rev. So let me say order by rev. It's a long query. If I run this again, it will give me the result by age group. So here we can say that younger people has generated 52,000, senior has generated 69,000, and middle aged has generated 86,000 in revenue. So it means the middle aged group is the age group that we need to target in the ad campaigns. So this is the query. I'll provide these queries to you. Let me go back to this PowerPoint and say that middle aged group. That's it. So this is also answered. I think we have answered all the questions. Now we need to provide some insights, and we can get or generate the insights from the process that we undertook before, and we solved these questions in that process. So let me give the first insight. The first insight is about the top 3 products. So let me go back to this slide and say that ABX store needs to focus on laptops, watches, and TVs, as these 3 are the products which are generating more revenue and are in high demand. That's it. This is the first insight. Let me write the second insight. ABX store needs to target customers in Atlanta, Chicago, and Miami, and run ad campaigns for the top 3 products in these states. Okay, that is the second insight. The sales are very high in March, May, and November. Therefore, ABX store needs to run ad campaigns in these specific months to get more sales. Okay, that's the third one. Let me write the final insight here. So for example, I can say that people aging 31 to 50 are generating more revenue. Therefore, these ages should be targeted via ad campaigns. So these are the 4 insights that we have generated from the data analysis process. The first one is that we need to focus on these 3 products because these are the top 3 products and are in high demand. Then we need to run ad campaigns in Atlanta, Chicago, and Miami for these 3 products mentioned in the first question or insight. Then we have that the sales are very high in March, May, and November. Therefore, we need to run our ad campaigns in these 3 months. And the final one is that we need to target people aging 31 to 50 because these are the people who are buying more items and are generating more revenue in these three specific states that we mentioned in the second insight. So that concludes our data analysis portfolio project number 1. In the next video, we are going to work on the second project, and after that I'll give you one project so you can also practice along with me. If you have any questions or any comments, make sure you put them in the comment section under this video, and I'll be there for you to answer your questions or to see your comments. If you got value from this video, please don't forget to like this, comment under this video, and make sure you subscribe to this channel, because we are going to work on more projects on SQL and Python in the coming videos. Thanks for watching.